Welcome to Art with Miss Walsh at Home Edition. This week, we'll be doing a doodle drawing featuring fruits. Be sure to watch the entire video to check out coloring options and ideas. You're going to need something to draw on and something to draw with. And always remember, artists, you can pause and rewind the video as many times as you need. There will also be another video where we draw the fruit doodles using my current favorite doodle app that can be found on your iPad. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get started on our doodle sheet. We're going to be using the entire piece of paper. The key is repetition. So we're going to be drawing simple drawings, very small and quickly, but we're going to fill the entire space in a way that's really interesting. And then we can go back and use a lot of color, and that's going to really make our drawing pop. So if you need step-by-step instructions for any of the individual fruits, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can find those. I'll link those as well, but I'm just going to be quickly showing you how to create doodles by using the entire page. I'm using a Sharpie. Feel free to use a pencil with an eraser if you would like. Okay, so I'm going to draw the first fruit. So the key is not to be perfect. It's just to kind of fill the space, like I said. The more fruits you include and the more space that you take up, the nicer and more interesting your drawing will be. All right, guys, let's see. I think we can fit one more down here. I'm gonna do a banana. There we go. And then we can really set these off by coloring them. If you want to add any other fruits like a pear or a plum, grapes, you could do that. If you wanted to keep going, remember we said repetition is key, so you want to alternate. So maybe you can fit another small banana. Remember, they don't have to be perfect. Maybe we can fit another apple right here, and let's change the direction. Maybe we can fit another pineapple. Let's see, let's do another strawberry. So for the strawberry, there's several different ways. If you wanted, you could start with the top. This is the green part. Cute. All right, guys, there you have it. All right, artists, thanks for joining me again. I am going to give you a few ideas for applying color to your doodles. I have all kinds of supplies with me. I have some watercolors, which you might have. I have colored pencils. I have a random assortment of highlighters and markers. And I also have some art markers like we have in our classroom, the permanent markers. So I'll be showing you sort of a combo of all of them. If you haven't drawn all of your fruits, do that first. So I'm just going to show you a quick refresher on something that we've all used in class with me before, which is a layering technique. So I have some red, yellow, and different greens, and I'm going to use them for this apple here. So just to give you a coloring option, you can always, if you want, sort of use a darker color to go around the edge, just super simple, and a lighter color to go on top or in the middle of it, just to give it a little bit of depth, like a shadow. So that's that. You can, I would recommend always coloring in the same direction. You can use different colors to sort of create a layered effect. So you can change the value by changing the pressure with something like a crayon or a colored pencil. So you can create that shadowed look. And then you can sort of choose a neutral color to bring it all together, to tie it together and sort of blend. don't have to be super precise sometimes when you use. It's your choice. Okay. Let's see. I do not have a brown colored pencil, but I do have a brown marker, so use what you got. All right. Speaking of markers, let's do something super simple like the watermelon. Using what we have. You could use a highlighter if you wanted. I have a pink marker. I'm just gonna go for it. A doodle is so small that you can go ahead and use markers to color them in. I know that I say reserve your oop, a little dark. Let's go with it. Markers. Okay, let's get into the paint. So watercolors, we have, if you have been in art with me and art with Miss Walsh, we've used watercolors before, but let's just go ahead and remind ourselves. So we want to keep each color nice and fresh and clean by taking good care of our supplies. And the way that we do that is by always using a, let me go ahead and move this. Well, I don't want to. So we want to always use clean supplies, and we want to be mindful, careful of what we're doing when we use them. So this is Mr. Paintbrush. You want to hold it at the bottom, so at the tippy toes. This is his hair. He likes to keep his hair nice and fresh, nice and clean. This, you know, you don't want to keep your hand too close when you're using it. It's too close to his neck. You're just kind of choked up a little bit. He's choking. So you need to move your hand down at the bottom, the tippy toes. And the reason why you can do that is because you have a lot more movement, and also simply because you'll be dragging your hand in the paint if you're down too far. So just keep that in mind. You need to have some water. It needs to start as clean as possible, but you don't need to clean it often. And when you're using the water, you kind of want to go down. You want to dip. You want to swish at the bottom, and you want to pull it up along the side of the cup and just kind of squeeze. So dip, swish, and squeeze. But you don't want to use your hands because this has paint, and paint is a chemical. You don't want to do that. So for watercolor paints, which is what we have, I'm going to touch it just for you to see. It's dry. These are totally dry, so you have to kind of wake them up to use them. So let's go ahead and do just something very simple like this banana. So I'm going to use the yellow. So I'm going to just tickle the surface of the paint with my wet, clean brush until it starts to glisten and I can see a bit of a puddle. Okay, so you want to add a little more water, and you want to start in the darkest area just as a test. So I know I went the bottom darker. Oop, it's super light, so we're looking good so far. I'm going to go ahead and spread it out. I'm going to apply a little more paint to my brush. Okay, so when I apply the paint, I'm kind of steering clear of the edge because paint tends to spread. And I'm just kind of smoothing it on with the tippy toes of the paintbrush. If I need more water, I can do that. You don't want the paint to be too sticky, but you also don't want it to be too light like what happened at first. So let's see if we can't kind of just apply it. Now, let's say we wanted to create a shadow. We can let this dry a little bit and we can come back and we can add another layer. We can use more water on our brush to thin it out, but at this point we don't have a large enough space to really spread our paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry for just a little bit, and then I'm gonna add an additional top layer of that yellow just along the bottom to make it a little bit darker. If you wanted to paint inside of one shape using two colors, you can. Let's wake the red up. You can. You don't have to be super perfect. You could even go outside the edge if you wanted. Watch. It's okay. It's still gonna look good. So I like to spread the paint out until it's super thin. That's how we're going to create a nice layer of color. So while it's still wet, we can come back with a little bit of the yellow and we can sort of spread it out. I'm cleaning my brush every time. If I want to change a color, you gotta clean your brush. Now, this is called the wet on wet. So wet paint, it mixes together and just kind of does its own thing. If that's something that you want to do, let's go ahead and kind of keep with this theme of going outside the line. You just kind of want to leave it sit like that for a little bit. If you had a clean paper towel, you could blot it, but you don't want to spread it. You just kind of go ahead and let that settle. You can change the way that you use your brush. You can kind of swirl to make a texture. You let it set. You're going to want to leave it flat. That way the water doesn't drip and run. Okay. We could even let this go a little bit into here since apples tend to be all kinds of colors, and we can let that go. All right, so that's watercolor. Let's do the kiwi with some of our fancy markers. With the markers, you want to go around the border maybe. You want to kind of try to use the widest edge, flat, and in little rows, and you quickly fill in a space. You can, if you want, add additional layers with markers, but you don't want to go too much over the same area with a marker, because just like paint, it's making the surface of our paper wet, and wet paper rips, so it's not really something that you want to do. You can use a smaller out-tipped, it's dry. Let's see. Well, that happens, doesn't it? Never fear. I have others. Let's check this one out. Oop, a little too dark. That's okay, guys. So I'm gonna go around the edge. I wanna see if I can't find a lighter green to use. So if ever you're not sure of a marker color, test it. Test it on a scratched piece of paper. Oh, that's good. So the inside of a kiwi is white, so I'm leaving it like that. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna keep going. If you want to experiment using different techniques on the same sheet, you can do that. I just wanted to show you a few different ways that you can doodle. Don't forget, you could, if you just have crayons or colored pencils, or if you don't feel like being fancy, you can always do something classic and just color them in very neatly with good craftsmanship, and it's really eye-catching and super cute. So I hope that you have found a technique that you like. And don't forget, when we want to watercolor, we just want to be very careful. We want to go very slow. We want to use a soft brush and a light hand and just really take our time and let it flow. Sometimes things happen that we don't expect or intend, and that's the nature of paint. So if you're going to paint, just be aware that, you know, sometimes things go outside of what you intended, and that's just sort of the nature of the beast. The more color paint that you apply to your brush, the deeper the pigment, the more water, the lighter, and the further the paint can spread. So just experiment with it. Maybe if you're going to try paint for the first time, you're not like super attached to the work, you can test it out and let me, ooh, that happened. Wet on wet, guys, so that's what's gonna happen. So if you add too much water or too much paint, these little tiny mistakes like this can occur. You can take a small cloth and dab it to remove it, which I will demonstrate for you. So I'm blotting it. I'm going straight down and I'm just going straight back up. I'm picking it up. If it's dry, like how I went outside the lines, if it's dry, if you attempt to do that, you might smear it, so I wouldn't recommend. But you can go ahead. You can also use it to just absorb puddles. I have a little bristle right there. There you go. Okay, guys, I'm going to keep on going, and be sure to take a picture and send me your work. I cannot wait to see what you come up with.